Coming up next on Newswatch.
The state of Ohio takes a hands-off approach on one controversial topic. Ohio University students might pay up this Halloween. And in sports, Ohio football took on Miami in the annual Battle of the Bricks this weekend. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
Ohio takes a hands-off approach to active shooter training on college campuses, leaving the policies up to schools to develop. Good evening, I'm Bianca Hillier. Thanks for joining us. Ohio's Higher Education Department, which oversees higher education institutions, does not require active shooting training. The agency spokesman says each university and college board of trustees is now tasked with formulating a safety plan that works best for their campus. Such training is not required for all students at Ohio University here in Athens. But the Ohio University Police Department offers ALICE training to prepare the campus community for responding to an armed intruder during a dangerous situation. ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Escape. This is OUPD's instructional video for responding to an intruder. OUPD offers public sessions of the full ALICE program, or special sessions can be arranged for a specific department or campus group. And having a guest in Athens during Halloween is becoming costly. The fee for guests staying in a dorm during Halloween weekend has increased to $50. This is the first time the price has jumped since 2012. Pete Trenicosti, Ohio University's Executive Director of Housing and Residence Life, says the fee is used to manage Halloween. It also funds alcohol.edu. The increase also pays for the RAs who are on duty 24 hours a day the entire weekend. Ohio University's homecoming celebration may have ended, but you can still watch the fun. Head to our YouTube page and check out the video stream of Saturday's parade. Ann Jacob and Caitlin Marshall will navigate you through the parade. This year's theme was Same Bricks, Different Stories.
Well, we had a great weekend for that homecoming parade, and today was just as nice. We had temperatures in the upper 70s today, still feeling a little bit like summer out there. Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Allison Gens. Right now in Athens, it's 72 degrees. We have a mix of sun and clouds out there, and our winds a little bit gusty. Looking around our region, temperatures are in the lower 70s, 72 in Columbus, 73 in Newark, 71 in Marietta, and 72 in Ripley. Now, overnight tonight, we can see that there's going to be a chance for some rain showers starting at 8 p.m., a slight chance of that rain, but mostly cloudy skies for the most part. Then by 1 a.m., that chance of rain increases, but then by tomorrow morning, as you are heading off to make your morning commute, that chance of rain is gone with temperatures 53 degrees and partly cloudy skies. So there is a little bit of rain coming our way and temperatures look to start cooling off. I'll have more in my extended forecast. Bianca.
Attorney General Mike DeWine held a press conference today to discuss his recent trip to Colorado. DeWine said that the trip strengthened his opposition to the legalization of marijuana. According to the Attorney General, a large problem with edible marijuana treats are that children cannot distinguish them between those with marijuana and those without. And an inmate is still on the loose after he escaped from a correctional facility this morning. Kentucky State Police say Courtney D. Williams was missing after a head count at the Keaton Correctional Facility in Paducah. Police describe Williams as a 5'9", 158-pound black male from the Hopkinsville area, and they say he was serving time on drug and organized crime charges. Anyone with knowledge of his whereabouts should contact the Kentucky State Police. One hospital in Ohio is studying suicide in an effort to better understand it and stop it from happening. The Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus has started a center focused on suicide research. The hospital wants to create interventions for children who are thinking about committing suicide. The Center for Suicide Prevention and Research also aims to better the hospital's relationship with school districts and collaborate with them on a prevention program. And a new Ohio program is helping new and expectant low-income fathers. Ohio officials say the state is getting almost $10 million over the next 5 years as a part of a federal grant. The state's Commission on Fatherhood says the money will support the New Beginnings for New Fathers program in Franklin, Clark, Cuyahoga, Hamilton, and Montgomery counties. Participating dads ages 16 to 24 will get job training and parenting classes. The program also provides healthy marriage and relationship education. And gas prices are running higher than last week in Ohio. The average price for a gallon of regular gas in Ohio was about $2.47 in today's survey from Auto Club AAA. That's 8 cents more than a week ago and 23 cents more than a month ago. Today's national average for regular fuel was about $2.30, up a couple of pennies from last week, but slightly lower than a month ago. It's significantly cheaper than at this time last year when the average was $3.21. You might notice a small collection of pumpkins while you're shopping for the fall season. A rainy planting season and drier weather has left Ohio with a damaged pumpkin crop. Ohio State University Extension educator Jim Kaczynski says some growers got a double punch from the weather after the rain stopped. A dry August further hurt the growth of pumpkins and a crop that is nearly 90% water. More women in West Virginia are taking on the roles in agriculture. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says 29% of farmers in the state are women. That's 3 times the national average. West Virginia University Assistant Professor Dulari Synites says the WVU Extension Service has made educating and training women in agriculture a priority. And the agency will host the 2nd annual Women in Agriculture Conference October 23rd through 24th at Canaan Valley Resort. One tech company brought out their rival, and Zimbabwe conversations have reached a decision when dealing with Cecil the Lion's killer. We'll also bring you more on the clashes between Palestinians and Israelis. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Israeli forces are intensifying patrols on the streets of Jerusalem after a series of stabbing attacks today. This follows a weekend of attacks and clashes between Palestinians and Israelis. Ben Weidman is following the heightened tensions from Jerusalem.
It's arguably the most sensitive real estate on earth. The Temple Mount, the Haram al-Sharif as it's known to Muslims, is the epicenter of the long, bitter struggle between Israelis and Palestinians. In September 2000, then opposition leader Ariel Sharon went there under heavy security.
I came here to the holiest place of the Jewish people.
His visit sparked violent clashes, which marked the beginning of the Second Intifada, known to Palestinians as the Aqsa Intifada, after the Aqsa Mosque, located on the Temple Mount. And once again, tensions there are fueling more violence, say young protesters in the West Bank. Hey, so why are you here today?
Because the Aqsa Mosque we need for us. The Aqsa is for us. So we will never forgive up.
It's here that Jews believe their holiest of holies, the Temple of Solomon, once stood. For Muslims, the Aqsa Mosque, which sits within the compound, is where they believe the Prophet Muhammad made a miraculous night journey from Mecca before ascending to heaven. When Israel conquered East Jerusalem in 1967, then Defense Minister Moshe Dayan pledged to maintain a strict separation, barring unofficially Jews from worshiping on the Temple Mount in what became known as the status quo. There are few places more emotive to Palestinians and Israelis, says former Jerusalem Deputy Mayor Meron Benvenisti.
Because it's the focal point of the conflicting views, or if you want, ideologies or narratives of both national movements.
Yusuf Nachi works for the Islamic Waqf, or endowment, that oversees the Haram al-Sharif. Underneath the anger over perceived changes to the status quo is a deeper issue.
It is the occupation which causes the frustration, which causes really the unrest of the Palestinians, and that to imagine that young people are ready to die for such a cause.
But the status quo is eroding. In recent years, Israeli authorities have allowed a growing number of Jews to tour the area, and right-wing Israeli politicians have insisted on the right of Jews to pray there. In July, an Israeli cabinet minister called for the building of the third temple on the Temple Mount. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu leads a shaky coalition dominated by hardliners, insists the status quo remains in place, and recently barred Israeli politicians and officials from going to the Temple Mount. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has called for a non-violent protest against perceived Israeli attempts to change the status quo. And as leaders on both sides exchange accusations, more and even greater violence around the site is inevitable, warns Benvenisti.
This is something that is a ticking bomb. The question is how long you can postpone the explosion. And for that you need realistic, smart politicians. And I'm afraid I don't find them.
If this is the ticking bomb, what will the explosion look like?
Thanks, Ben. Now to Zimbabwe. Authorities say they will not prosecute American Walter Palmer in the killing of Cecil the lion. Zimbabwe conservationists said Cecil was lured out of a national park before he was shot with a bow in early July. The outcry on social media over the prized lion's death was swift and brutal. The Minnesota dentist was vilified worldwide. Palmer said even his family received threats. He temporarily shut down his dental practice. Zimbabwe's environment minister said Palmer had all the papers necessary for a hunt in order. She added there had been enough publicity surrounding Palmer and the lion. Palmer has always maintained he was hunting legally. And Dell is set to buy a rival company in what will be the biggest tech deal of all time. Dell says it will buy corporate software, storage, and security giant EMC for $67 billion. The deal completes Dell's transition from a consumer PC business to an IT solutions provider for companies. EMC made its name selling companies cloud storage systems for their data centers. But both EMC and Dell have struggled recently due to the rise of other cloud companies like Amazon, which can store company data at a cheaper rate. Dell says the new company will remain private. And on Wall Street today, stocks are looking up. For one group, a restricted diet is essential. That story is still ahead.
its way through this evening, and more fall-like temperatures are in the forecast. I'll have that in your 7-day coming up next on Newswatch.
I support one student in college with a scholarship. Just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education. I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're giving back.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Good evening and welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Allison Gens. Looking outside on our tower cam right now, you can see some clouds beginning to work their way in this evening as we can expect some rain showers later tonight. Right now in Athens, it's 72 degrees with that mix of sun and clouds out there. Winds south 13 miles per hour. Looking around the region, temperatures in the lower 70s, 72 in New Lexington, 71 in Marietta, 72 in Ripley, and 73 in Ironton. Now our almanac today shows our high was well above our average. 76 degrees was our high temperature today. Our normal is 68. Our low, though, was right on track. 42 degrees was our low today, and our sun will set at 6:54 tonight. Now, tonight we will see some rain showers beginning to move its way through. We'll have this brief cold front, but as you look tomorrow, that cold front's going to work its way out. Clear skies for us here in our region, but then most of that rain moving up north, and that rain will continue to work its way north into the New England area, but not anything for us to worry about for the next few days as we have high pressure in our region. Now, temperatures overnight tonight in the 50s, so a little bit warmer than what we felt last night. 51 in New Lexington, 55 in New Martinsville, 55 in Ripley, and 52 in Jackson, with a chance for rain throughout the region. Now, tomorrow, temperatures in the 60s, so a lot cooler than what we felt today, but we had those 70-degree temperatures starting to feel more fall-like. 66 in Marietta, 62 in Newark and Columbus, and 66 in Jackson. Now tonight, 50 degrees for our low, with those showers likely before 1 a.m., but they are expected to start clearing up by afterwards, and then see mostly cloudy skies for the most part. Winds southwest 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 66 degrees for our high, with mostly sunny skies and those fall-like temperatures that I was telling you about as well. Now, looking at your extended forecast, 63 degrees for Wednesday with a mix of sun and clouds, and then no chance for rain for the rest of the week. Temperatures in the 60s, then by Saturday dropping to the 50s, but then back into the 60s for Monday. Now I'm going to send it back to you, Bianca.
All All right, thanks, Allison. Many Americans have decided to curb or even eliminate gluten from their diets because that makes them feel better. But for one group of patients, a gluten-free diet is essential. They have a disorder known as celiac disease. Jim Morelli caught up with one celiac patient who says her new diet changed her life.
Lisa Vassell spent much of her life feeling, well, lousy.
A lot of bloating, had headaches all the time.
About 10 years ago, her sister was diagnosed with celiac disease, a genetic disorder in which part of the small intestine becomes inflamed as a result of eating gluten, a protein found in wheat, rye, and other grains. Dr. John Garber co-directs the Adult Celiac Disease Program at Boston's Massachusetts General Hospital. He says the number of patients diagnosed with celiac disease is soaring.
The fact that we're seeing this dramatic increase in the incidence of this disease really indicates that we're sort of in the middle of a slow kind of simmering epidemic.
Celiac disease differs from simple gluten intolerance. It's classified as an autoimmune disorder in which the body attacks and damages part of the small intestine called the duodenum when gluten is ingested. As for treatment, simple but not necessarily easy. Cut gluten from the diet. It worked for Lisa Vassell. 2 weeks after modifying her diet, she felt much better.
It's just food. You don't have to take a bunch of pills. You don't have to have surgery, and completely changed my life.
In Hopkinton, Massachusetts, Jim Morelli for CNN.
Thanks, Jim. And in sports this evening, Ohio field hockey dominated over a Big Ten opponent. I'll have that recap. Plus, Ohio football is perfect in action after the Battle of the Bricks this weekend. I'll have that and more when Newswatch Sports takes over. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
My granddaughter is named June Elizabeth, but I call her Junebug. My hope is to teach her about kindness and about the love of animals and nature. I want Junebug to have the same opportunities I had by watching PBS. My husband and I feel so strongly about our PBS station that we've included them in our estate plan. PBS is part of our values, and we want to pass it on to the next generation.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back, everyone. It was the Battle of the Bricks this past weekend, and the Ohio Bobcats reigned king in their 34-3 victory over the Miami Redhawks. The Cats' defense again proved their dominance, allowing only a single field goal. They caused multiple turnovers, including Quinton Polling's first pick six of the season. Javon Johnson was back on the gridiron for the first time and had an impressive recovery game. The air attack was balanced across a season-high 10 receivers, and Sebastian Smith led the Cats with 9 catches for 91 yards. But one player is now decked out with honors. Sophomore Quinton Poling has racked up his third MAC East Defensive Player of the Week. Along with his first pick six of the season against the Redhawks, he leads the team with 40 tackles this season. He'll look to bring that same intensity when they take on the Western Michigan Broncos at home this weekend at noon. One team also earned honors this weekend, the Ohio softball team. 5 players were named All-American Scholar Athletes by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Sam Bowlesby, Madison Clater, Adrian Gabley, Raven King, and Taylor Saxton earned this honor. Clater leads the Cats with an impressive 3.76 GPA. The Ohio Bobcats field hockey team took care of business Sunday afternoon, getting a 4-1 victory against the Michigan State Spartans. The Cats had 4 different players find the net and had 13 shots on goal. The win brings the Bobcats back to .500 on the year. Ohio will return to the pitch this Friday at Pruitt Field for the first MAC contest of the year against Ball State. Aaron Rodgers and the Ohio soccer team had a weekend to forget this past weekend as they lost to rivals Miami and Oxford on Friday and Ball State and Muncie yesterday afternoon. Stephanie Rowland scored early for the Bobcats, but the Cardinals proved they are the best team in the MAC by defending their home turf with a 2-1 win. The Bobcats return to Chelsea Field this Friday with a 4 o'clock kickoff against Eastern Michigan. It's been a while since the Houston Astros have played playoff baseball, but with 3 wins through their first 4 games this postseason, they are the team to watch for in the American League. Game 4 of the ALDS was this afternoon, and the Astros continue to ride their early postseason success. The teams went back and forth all afternoon, and the Royals tied the game in the top of the 8th with a 4-run inning, ending the game 9-6. The series is now tied at 2 in the other ALDS. After losing the first 2 games at home, the Toronto Blue Jays avoided being swept by the Rangers with a 5-1 win. They are currently playing, and the Blue Jays are up. Now over to the National League. The Cubs took down the Cardinals Saturday night behind a Jorge Sol home run to tie the series at 1 game apiece. The 2 teams are back at it right now at Wrigley in the north side of Chicago. And in the other NLDS, Chase Utley will be able to play in Game 3 tonight against the Mets after sliding into Ruben Tejada's Saturday night. Utley is appealing the 2-game suspension that the league handed him on Sunday. Brett Anderson will now throw for the Dodgers, and Matt Harvey will be throwing for the Mets. The Bengals record is still spotless after a 33-13 win over the Seattle Seahawks. After trailing 17 points with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, the Cincinnati Bengals scored 20 unanswered points, lifting them 27-24 over the Seahawks in overtime. Bengals QB Andy Dalton threw 1 touchdown and rushed for another in the fourth quarter, leading to Mike Nugent's game-tying field goal at the end of regulation. Nugent went on to kick the game-winning 42-yard field goal. The Bengals travel to Buffalo to take on Bills next Sunday. Let's see if they can keep up that streak. And what a time for NFL teams in Ohio. The Browns snapped their 2-game losing streak in an overtime thrill ride against the Ravens. Cleveland struggled for a majority of the game and found themselves trailing 21-9 in the third quarter. However, the Browns owned the fourth quarter behind Josh McCown's career-high 457 passing yards. Yes, 457, sending the game into overtime. After forcing the Ravens to a 3-and-out on their first possession, Travis Coons kicked a 32-yard game-winning field goal, giving them the 33-30 victory. And that's it for sports tonight. Back to Allison with a look at final weather.
All right, thanks, Bianca. 50 degrees for our low tonight with showers likely across the region before 1 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, more fall-like temperatures, 66 for our high with a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Now looking at your extended forecast, temperatures in the 60s for the most of the week with no rain in sight, then dropping to the 50s for the weekend, but returning to the 60s to start next week. Bianca?
Well, I'm so glad to see all that sunshine. It's nice to have a little bit of a break from the rain after last week. That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Bianca Hillier, and stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can always find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.